Welcome to The Planner's Perspective with Jessie Kara. This is the podcast for wedding planners and couples navigating South Asian weddings and everything that comes with them. Culture, family dynamics, money, design, expectations, and the real conversations no one prepares you for. I'm Jessie Kara, a South Asian wedding planner and educator trusted by couples and families when things get complicated. Here we go beyond timelines and Pinterest boards and talk about what actually happens behind the scenes. If you're a planner stepping into South Asian weddings or a couple who wants to understand the process more deeply, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Welcome back to The Planner's Perspective. I'm Jessie Kara, award-winning South Asian wedding planner and designer. I've been in the industry for over 2 decades producing large-scale, multi-day South Asian weddings across different countries, cultures, and production environments. My work sits at the intersection of design, logistics, cultural advocacy, and operational leadership. And this podcast exists to show you what's really happening behind the beauty. In the last 2 episodes, we talked about destination weddings from a couple's perspective, all-inclusive resort systems, private estates, infrastructure, culture capacity, the difference between beauty and structure. Today, I want to talk to planners, or aspiring planners, or planners who have mastered beautiful local weddings and are thinking, I'm ready for destination. Because I remember when I thought that at that point in my career, I had already executed large-scale South Asian weddings, multi-day events, custom builds, high guest counts, complex family dynamics, production schedules that required precision. So when destination inquiries started coming in, I thought the only difference would be geography. And boy, was I wrong. Destination weddings are not local weddings in a different country. They are amplified operations. Everything you know how to do, it has to function at a higher level. Everything you are weak at, it will be exposed. The first lesson I learned was about systems. Destination weddings amplify your systems. If your workflow is messy locally, it will break internationally. If your communication is vague locally, it will collapse internationally. If your contracts are soft locally, they will cost you internationally. When you're at home, familiarity protects you. You know your rental houses. You know your backup vendors. You know how long deliveries take. You know who to call when something breaks. When you travel, you lose that safety net. You are walking into someone else's ecosystem. And I underestimated that. I assumed that a detailed design deck was enough. I assumed confirmation emails were enough. I assumed a confident yes meant operational readiness. It doesn't always. And that's not because vendors are careless, it's because business culture differs. In some places, yes means we understand exactly what you require and have sourced accordingly. In other places, yes means we will try. And in some, yes is hanji hanji ho jayega, which means they're basically saying they're going to do what they do. Now, all of those are not the same. I learned that lesson the hard way. When I planned a wedding in India, I sent a full design deck, detailed elevations, floral breakdowns, installation mechanics, color mapping, layout drawings. Every detail was specified. The response I received was confident. Not a problem, we have everything, we will do it. When I arrived on site and began reviewing setup, I was met with blank stares. They did not have everything. They had not sourced what was required. They did not understand the scale of what had been designed. Days before the wedding, I realized that if I did not intervene, the vision would collapse. And here's the part that people romanticize incorrectly. Destination weddings look glamorous on Instagram. They do not show you the night before when you're on a ladder at 2 a.m. re-engineering canopy draping because the fabric weight isn't what you specified. They do not show you redrawing layouts because the stage build was scaled incorrectly. They do not show you recalculating floral mechanics because the vessel source were half the size of what was approved. I stayed up all night, literally all night, rebuilding design mechanics, adjusting scale, substituting materials, calling alternate suppliers, redrawing diagrams. And I remember thinking very clearly in that moment, this is why foundational knowledge matters. If you do not understand your craft mechanically, not just aesthetically, you cannot pivot. If you do not understand how florals are structured, you cannot rebuild when ingredients shift. If you do not understand how a mandap is engineered, you cannot adapt when anchoring points change. If you do not understand lighting loads, you cannot adjust when power supply is unstable. Destination weddings require more than delegation. They require literacy. The second lesson I learned was about time. Time zones are not inconvenient. They are operational challenges. When planning internationally, I was often awake at 2 a.m. because that was the only overlap window within vendors. Then waking up at 6 a.m. to respond to clients in North America. Weeks of fragmented sleep, communication cycles that stretch simple decisions into multi-day exchanges. And an email sent at 10 a.m. your time might not be answered until your midnight. Momentum slows. When momentum slows, clients feel uncertainty. When clients feel uncertainty, you must over-communicate to rebuild confidence. And that's emotional labor layered onto logistical labor. You are not just coordinating, you are stabilizing, and planners rarely price for that. Are you pricing for fragmented communication cycles? Are you pricing for extended pre-production calls? Are you pricing for additional site visits? Are you pricing for recovery days after international travel? Or are you absorbing those hours because destination feels prestigious? Because prestige does not fund sleep deprivation. Prestige does not compensate for risk absorption. Prestige does not pay for all-night redesigns. That realization changed how I structured my destination pricing, because resentment builds quietly when labor is unaccounted for. The third lesson was about authority. When you are local, your reputation precedes you. Vendors know your standards. Venues know your expectations. Your name carries weight. When you are abroad, you are unknown. Authority must be established through clarity, documentation, and precision. You cannot rely on familiarity. You must rely on structure. Contracts become more detailed. Confirmations become more explicit. Vendor scopes become more defined. Who is responsible for what, at what time, under what conditions, with what backup? Destination weddings multiply variables. Your contracts must multiply protections, travel delays, customs holds, currency fluctuation, vendor no-shows, permit denials, extended labor hours due to time shifts. If your contract does not anticipate variables, you absorb them. And here is something planners don't like admitting. We often underprice destination weddings in the beginning because they feel glamorous, because we want the portfolio, because we want the international stamp. But glamour does not offset liability, and liability feels very real when you are solving problems in a country that is not your own. The final lesson was about boundaries. When you are traveling for a wedding, clients often feel you are fully available all day, every day. You are staying at the same property. You are visible. If you do not establish communication boundaries, you will never rest. And exhaustion is dangerous. Fatigue reduces judgment. Reduced judgment increases mistakes. Destination weddings require your sharpest thinking. You cannot afford burnout on site. And here's the truth. Destination weddings are not inherently more prestigious. They are more complex. They require deeper infrastructure literacy, deeper contract literacy, deeper production literacy, and stronger self-trust. Do not say yes because it sounds impressive. Say yes because your systems are strong enough to survive stress. Ask yourself honestly, if decor arrives incomplete, can I rebuild? If vendors misunderstand scale, can I re-engineer? If timelines compress, can I restructure? If power fails, do I understand the load distribution? If customs holds materials, do I have redundancy? If a venue has never executed a multi-event South Asian weddings, can I educate them without losing authority? If the answer is not yes, that is not failure, it is preparation. Master complexity locally first. Build your tolerance in a familiar system before testing it in an unfamiliar one. Because destination weddings do not forgive weak systems, but they will transform strong ones. They will stretch you, refine you, sharpen you. And if you're ready for that level of operational leadership, they will elevate you. If you want to deepen your understanding of multi-event South Asian wedding production before stepping into destination work, explore my educational resources and upcoming trainings. Because the world will sell you the romance of destination weddings, my job is to teach you the structure behind them. And that is the planner's perspective. I'll see you in the next episode. If today's episode helped things click or gave you a new perspective, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. This podcast exists to support planners in doing their best work and to help couples feel informed, confident, and prepared as they navigate their very own South Asian wedding. If there's something specific you want me to talk about, an episode idea you'd love to hear, a planning story you want to share, or a question you're sitting with, there's a link in the show notes where you can send it all in. I promise I will read every submission, and many of them will shape future episodes. You can connect with me at www.jessiekara.com or on Instagram at jessiekara. If you're ready to navigate South Asian weddings with intention and confidence, I'll see you there. And if this podcast is supporting you in any way, I would truly appreciate you taking a moment to leave a 5-star review. It helps more planners and couples find these conversations and keep the space growing. Until next time, trust your perspective and plan with clarity.